Hello, my name's Scott Perry. I'm a professional magician and this is a magic review. It's a kind of magic. Today we're looking at Breakers by Ade Rahmat. So the TLDR on Breakers is realistically, you're probably never going to perform this for anyone in real life. You may, it is possible, but I'm just saying you probably won't. However, I do think it's still worth the purchase. It's a relatively low price and it's a really good um, like way of practicing making gimmicks and an introduction to gimmicks, and it's very good for social media as well. So it's a really good trick to perform for video if you're into social media. Probably never going to perform it in real life. Worth a purchase, I think, in my opinion. That's the TLDR. Let's break it down and get into more details. What is Breakers? I'll put a little bit of footage up on the screen right now and show you that it's basically you're holding a deck of cards and you can pass something through it, and it's a really cool illusion, really clever. That's essentially all it is. It's like a solid through solid penetration, and then you can use the pack of cards for another magic trick. That's what the effect is. I'm also going to try and show it to you, so I will cut to a clip of me performing it so that you can see how it looks when it's not in a trailer form, so there's me performing it. And yeah, that's what Breakers is. What do you receive with Breakers? It's a digital download, so you don't actually receive anything, but you receive roughly 18 minutes of instruction with the digital download. I think it can be purchased on Vanishing Ink. That's where I purchased it, but I don't know where else you can purchase Breakers. As it is a digital download, I don't know if Vanishing Ink have the sole rights to it, but have a shop around, have a look at a few of the websites, the magic shops that you shop at, and maybe they will have it in stock. But it is just a digital download with 18 minutes of instructions, and the instructions are all done to music, so Ade doesn't speak at all. It covers pretty much everything you need to know. Ade obviously has come across quite an interesting gimmick here, but is not like some production companies. So he's just recorded this, I imagine, at home. But even with the relatively low quality instructions, it is quite straightforward. You will just have to watch it once and then start from the beginning and just start and pause the video and instructions, and you'll be able to follow through quite easily. Although the instructions are about 18 minutes long, it will take you on your first attempt anywhere from 30 minutes to 1 hour to actually make the gimmick. So that's like what you get with Breakers. It's 18 minutes of instructions that will take you roughly 30 to 45 minutes to create a gimmick that you can add and remove from a pack of cards. How easy is Breakers to perform? I find it quite cumbersome and quite awkward to perform, which is why I said in the TLDR at the beginning of this review that I would never, ever perform this in person or at a gig or anywhere in a live situation. But that's not to say that it's not a good trick. I think it's a very cool illusion. I think the gimmick that Ade has created here is really interesting. And I think there's a lot to learn through the process of making this gimmick through the instructions. So it's very easy once you're set up, but I think getting into the position where you're holding the pack of cards like this, for me, is very awkward and very difficult. I don't think I could get into that position easily, to be honest. So I would say it's probably like a 3 or 4 out of 5. It's quite the actual penetration is very easy and very simple, and then the cleanup from that is very easy and simple. But getting into that position for me is quite difficult. So I would say it's like a 3 or 4 out of 5 for difficulty. And that brings us on to the reset time. Reset time is pretty quick, like fairly instant, to be honest. The gimmick can be brought into the deck and can be removed fairly easily. The gimmick is kind of one of those gimmicks that's always ready to go. So the reset time is very, very quick. You're talking about seconds. The angles, however, are a little bit more tricky. You do need people directly in front of you to perform this. If you have anyone to your sides, you're probably not going to be able to get away with this. If you have anyone taller than you, shorter than you, there's no way. Which is why I say that I would never perform this in a live situation. Not to say that it's not impossible, but I personally wouldn't risk it. And you would have to get the person you're performing to directly on. So you could potentially perform this to, like, I don't know, a friend in a cafe or at dinner or something, where they're literally opposite the table and you perform it, and then you go into another trick. That's possible, but I wouldn't personally. So the angles are quite bad on this. Directly in front of you, you can't really have anyone around the sides. Pocket space is a little bit better than the angles. You know, it is just a gimmicked card, so that's all you have to worry about in terms of pocket space. And then obviously you'll need a pack of cards as well to perform it, but very minimal pocket space usage, to be honest. And now my final thoughts. If you haven't gathered, I'm a little bit of a fan of this, but I think it's important that you do know before you purchase this, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need regular sellotape. You're going to need double-sided sticky tape, preferably a really thin one like this, that's double-sided sticky tape. And then you will also need a normal regular size double-sided sticky tape as well. You will also need a pair of scissors. You will need 4 or 5 playing cards that you're going to destroy. You will need something sharp to cut with, a Stanley knife or a craft knife, something like that. And I think that's it. Scissors, Stanley knife, thin double-sided stick tape. You don't need thin. You can just cut a thin slice of regular sticky tape. This will make it easier for you. Regular sticky tape, sellotape, and yes, I think that's it. And then a mat to cut on. But I think it's important that you know that you do need these things before you even get started. So make sure that you have those things at your house when you're purchasing this, so that you can get stuck in straight away and enjoy the teaching and enjoy the effect, and you know, perform it for your social media followers, or you can give it a go if you're brave to perform it in real life. I think that's all there was on the final thoughts. That you know, it's really interesting. Those are the things that you're going to need to make the gimmick. Like I said earlier on in the review, the gimmick took me roughly half an hour to make up on my first try. You can customize it somewhat so that you can put thicker things through the card, or through the deck, I should say. So in the trailer of Breakers, Ade puts a key through, and you can do thicker objects as well. You can just customize that when you're making the gimmick up. So you can have it as invisible. You can have the secret as invisible as you want. That's, I think, everything to do with Breakers. I think it's really fun. I think it's really good. It's roughly £8 or like $9, so really cheap. I think you'll have fun with it, even if it's just performing it to camera or performing it in the mirror. And there's a lot to learn in the process of gimmick making. So yes, I really like Breakers. Not something I'll ever perform in real life, not something I'll ever perform for paid customers, but I like it nonetheless. That's it for today's review. I'll see you in the next one.